It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the blueprint. The major story here, Tinubu to Nigerians. Let's go through baby steps in faith. Tinubu to Nigerians. Let's go through baby steps in faith. You find all the details on the front page of the blueprint. And just right there, he says cashless policy or not, my victory at 2023 poll was sure. Details on the front page of the blueprint. We move quickly now to the Leadership newspaper. Citing gains of reforms, Tinubu asks Nigerians to endure baby steps of pain. Citing gains of reforms, Tinubu asks Nigerians to endure baby steps of pain. And some writers there says subsidy removal, single exchange rate in nation's interest, reiterates commitment to fulfilling campaign promises. All the details on the front page of Leadership newspaper. To the Nation newspaper now, Tinubu to governors, be ready, let's fix economy together. Tinubu to governors, be ready, let's fix economy together. Details on the front page of the Nation newspaper. To this Nigeria newspaper now, presidency fires back at PDP Labour Party over alleged anti-people policies. This Nigeria newspaper rather, presidency fires back at PDP Labour Party over alleged anti-people policies, accuses them of being envious. And to the Daily Trust, parents, students cry out as varsities hike fees. Parents, students cry out as varsities hike fees. And the parents are saying cost of living unbearable, withdrawal last option. The students protests 30% increment. You find all of the details on the front page of the Daily Trust, and the authorities are saying that the increment is inevitable. All right, Kemi.
And I'm on now to First News. The lead story there is on the news service chiefs. It says 100 generals get July the 3rd deadline to retire. First News reporting on 100 generals getting a July the 3rd deadline to retire. On the front page of the Daily Independent that we have next is supply glitches, stalling CBN exchange rates, unification policy. Daily Independent talking about the latest from the central bank. It's reporting on supply glitches, stalling CBN exchange rates unification policy. That's all on the Daily Independent. Nigerian News Direct is next. My victory was guaranteed despite Naira redesign policy. My victory was guaranteed despite Naira redesign policy. President Tinubu is being quoted there. On Daily Sun, it's still a takeaway from the president's outing in Ogun and Lagos states on Thursday. Nothing would have stopped my victory, says the president. That's on the Daily Sun. It's a different twist for Business Day. The big story there is an exclusive. It calls it Baby Making Racket Exploits Nigerian Women. Baby Making Racket Exploits Nigerian Women. That must make an interesting read. Finally is the Nature News. Emma of Kano urges citizens to stop dumping refuse and keep drainages clear. Emma of Kano urging residents to stop dumping refuse and keep drainages clear.
All right, let's look at the president's statement. He went to Ogun State on a thank you visit to the Aujale of Ijebuland as well as the Alake of Egbaland. And he talked about the Emilukan statement he made, how he invoked the spirit of freedom, and the Aujale said that actually that he spoke through the Emilokon statement. And he also was hosted in Lagos, talking about the president now. He was hosted in Lagos by the governor of Lagos State. And he also made some statements in Lagos State talking about the cashless policy and the fact that his victory was certain despite the cashless policy. And he was also happy to see former governor of Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode. When he saw him, he was like, yes. He, just gave the nod that it was good to see him. But it was also good to see some other former governors of Lagos State at that reception yesterday. But key statement from the president.
Indeed, and of course, what particularly struck me was his statement on the issue of the fuel subsidy removal. He made a rather strong case for himself on what preempted him to take that difficult but necessary decision, saying he could have just joined in the arbitrage, as he called it. He could have also chosen to amass for himself, take a bite, so to speak, into the. We all know how porous the regime, the fuel subsidy regime has been, how many people, if you go to the courts, so many of those cases are even in the courts by people who siphoned Nigeria's commonwealth under the fuel subsidy regime. And he said as much
not to.
He could have, but then he chose not to. And so this is something that's, needed to be done. And he also appreciated the governors for supporting that. We've seen how people across party lines have, come out, including governors from other parties, to endorse this position. And of course, it was something that many of the presidential candidates had also said it was something that Nigeria needed to do. So it was good. And of course, we cannot but talk about that very rather moving moment of former Governor Akinwumi Ambode and the kind words that the president had for him. Short words, but highly symbolic. Saying it was good to see. Your parties have, papers have talked about the 4-year absence, as they called it, of the former governor, and considering the circumstances with which he left the scene, so to speak. But
the fallout.
Yeah, and it was really a good one. All the three, the two former governors, the incumbent, or the three former governors, one of whom is now the president, and the incumbent. It was really a cheering one. And a good showing on Thursday.
And he again went to talking about the fact that Nigerians have to go through this baby steps of pain. Again, talking to the fact that speaking to the issues of he being sensitive to the plight of Nigerians. He understands that Nigerians are going through pain, and that we have to go through this now to reposition the country on the path of growth, as he has often said. And it is critical that he also mentioned that it is time to work. He spoke to governors, and we saw the president of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, as well as the speaker there present, who also said that they will give their full support to the president's move to ensure that he stabilizes the economy, every aspect of the nation, and putting the nation on the path of growth. It's good to also hear that from the Senate, that they are in support and they will show support to the president.
Oh, absolutely. And then the issue of him, some papers said he was boasting when he said that, he's quoted to have said he knew he would win, he was hopeful he would win, cash or no cash. Yeah. And it was really it was really rather poignant when he said invoking the Emilokon spirit, invoking the riding on freedom, on the principles of freedom and determination, as you put it. But of course, work is basically just starting. A particular paper said the first month of the presidency of the presidency under Bola Tinubu, this and this and this are what he has done, including unifying the foreign exchange rate, the issue of fuel subsidy removal, appointment of new service chiefs, and a host of other decisions. The Student Loan Act too, that he has also, append his signature on. These are rather significant, things that he has done, but it could go either way. So I think it is very, very important, and the president is mindful of that, and is also seeking for more support, saying he would run an open door policy on how to make sure that all of this benefit Nigerians on the long run. Indeed.
Absolutely. And what Nigerians are looking forward to as he speaks, and he's speaking, and it is good that he is speaking to the issues that Nigerians are going through, talking about the pain Nigerians are going through. The support he's seeking, I believe, is in the aspect of cushioning the effect on Nigerians, especially from governors who are closest to the people, what they can do to perhaps reduce this pain as much as possible, what it is that can be done. The federal government alone cannot handle this, as we have often said. So the support the government needs, the support the president needs, is how to look inwards and look at how to cushion the effects for the people. Like we have often said, we have seen Kwara State taking a step. We have seen Edo State taking another step, talking about working a particular number of days from as against 5 days. Some are saying 4 days, some are saying 3 days, even though some economists have come to challenge that. But in the long run, they are looking at how to cushion the effect on people. There are those who have increased the salaries of workers as against the minimum wage that we have, the original minimum wage, which is Edo State, for instance, increased to 40,000 naira. And they are looking at also bringing in buses for their staffers. So what can your state do as it stands? If you say you are in support of the decisions of government, you now begin to look inwards to ensure that you cushion the effect for your people.
I think it's basically an issue of, everyone looking inward, even beyond governors. Yes, it's important that governors also, rise to the occasion. This is not something that must be left for the federal government alone, not just, well, this is a glaring way where everyone's input is needed, and then bringing it down, local governments, private sector, and indeed everyone really needs to look inward to see
organizations,
how they can reach out. Organizations cutting across the public and the private sectors. We really need everyone's support indeed to get along these times.
And then the support of Nigerians to the decisions of government as it stands, but whichever way, on the long run, the president says he means well for Nigerians, and what he needs from them is their support, and that this time is a period of pain, and that we would negotiate the bend.
Which would definitely...
at the end of the day, in the long run, is to bring us to our destination, the path of growth.
Yes,
we'll leave the conversation here
now.